Valentina, plotting Lord of the Seas, is one of the more unique rulers up to this point and arguably inspired a lot of the game's mechanics right up until Saga Cluster. Further than that, I suspect that it might have had some influence on other games, namely Magic the Gathering. On ruler side, Valentina can cast Judgment for water and 2 void, fair cost. She can also pay water and 1 void to search your deck for a Regalia and put it into your hand. Most every deck in Alice Cluster ran a package of Regalia for utility, so the ability to search them out is naturally good. More so than Machina's Search, since most Regalia are free to play. It has more benefits than normal, mostly due to the J-Ruler side of Valentina. Overlord of the Seven Seas Valentina is a 700/700 Overlord, except she's not. When she enters the field, you reveal any number of 7 King J-Rulers from outside the game. She gains their names, God's Arts, and 100/100 for each one. With the full suite, she becomes a 1400/1400 with 7 God's Arts and access to their support. By outside of the game, she means the side deck. This very likely inspired the heavy extra deck theme Force of Will would utilise going forward. Lilius Petal uses the side deck in a similar manner, though it's more of a Yu-Gi-Oh-esque special summoning rather than this. After that you would see Shahrazad's Grimoire, the Divinity mechanic, and the Stranger deck, all seemingly inspired by this one card. Likewise, Magic rather suspiciously not only started tapping into the side deck as an extra deck after Force of Will did it, but Wizards of the Coast have said they are open to exploring the side deck as an extra deck some more. Interesting to speculate, but I digress. The reason that the Regalia have more benefits is because many of them reduce the costs of God's Art when used in conjunction with their rulers. Excalibur does it by 2 if your J-Ruler is Faria. Both the Death Scythe and Leviathan do it for Rezard and Meldrus respectively. It's very possible you will get costs down to just attribute costs, and these God's Arts are designed to be devastating. They are game-winning moves, but what's more interesting is the decks that are built around Valentina. In some ways, she's a bit like the more infamous ruler of the set, making other rulers' decks better. She was prominently seen with Prisha's 4 Sacred Beasts, and later on into the cluster, the Stealth package. One build from the Philippines merged both. Builds using machines were quite rare, leaving Machina as just a +100/+100 boost. The rather interesting thing is, the God's Arts names and buffs are just given to Valentina permanently. If she dies for whatever reason, she still has them. The main reason why Valentina was so in tune with the 4 Sacred Beasts is because of the Regalia interaction. She can reduce the X cost up to the full 4 void necessary to get out all 4 Sacred Beasts, and she can do it around turn 4. This gives you an 800 life gain, a draw, a bounce of a Resonator up to a 4 cost, and deal 800 damage to something. Then you have Faria for game winning later on, Meldrus and Valentina for control, Arla and Rezard for board nuking. While a bit of a gimmicky deck, it does work. This is on top of Valentina herself, who gains a slew of keywords from her Regalia, on top of her 1400/1400 body. Valentina was fairly prominent at the time. Not as big as Reflect, of course, but she had solid appearances throughout the Grim Alice New Frontiers and Alice Cluster formats. While a very influential card in terms of game design, I think she has a lot going for her in terms of play value. The whole gimmick of gaining the Regalia and God's Arts of the fallen and dethroned 7 kings is both flavoursome and a fun, explosive play. She's also competitive, raising up a deck that would have otherwise remained casual only. While Valentina's legacy is up for debate, namely her influence. The card itself is one of the better designs of the cluster.